Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body.
Hello. You are now tuned in to the A Little Bit of Love podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and welcome back to another episode. So glad that you guys joined me this week because we are here to talk about Bridgerton. That's right. We have finally made it to the long-awaited moment where we have Bridgerton season 4, part 1. I am so excited, guys. I just love Bridgerton season. I've covered the last season of Bridgerton when we had Penelope and Colin, and I was really looking forward to this one because I'm like, what is Benedict gonna give? You know what I mean? And this lady in the silver, Sophie, what is she gonna give, right? So I'm just happy that it's finally here. Bridgerton is life. Bridgerton is love. I have started the first episode with my mom because we both love Bridgerton. And then I watched the last 3 at home with my boyfriend because he also loves Bridgerton. So let's just get into it. I wrote my notes down because there are a few things that I loved about this season, a lot more than I thought I would. Okay. I feel like we're starting off better than I thought. I kind of went into the season with no expectations. So that way it wouldn't let me down because I feel like I had such high hopes for last season. And it was you know what I mean? It was still good, but there was just still certain things about it that I wished would have been better. So I don't know. We let's just get into it. We've also got some other things on the docket that happened with RuPaul's Drag Race last week that I want to discuss. We've also got this Grammy tribute that was done for Mariah Carey that I want to talk about as well at the end. So stick around so that way we can get into all of the topics, okay? And before we do that, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much, like I said, for stopping by. I really appreciate you. If you could give this video a like, I would really appreciate that. It helps, the channel. Comment down below to let me know, what did you think about this new season of Bridgerton? Were you living for it? Were there things that you wish, could have been a bit better? But keep it cute, guys. Let's keep it respectful. You know what I mean? This is a positive community, okay? Speaking of communities, if the idea of joining a community where they talk about pop culture, mental health, music, movie, TV interests you, then I would highly suggest that you subscribe to this channel, okay? We cover it all and we have a blast, we have a key. So, you don't want to miss out on that, right? I'm 150 subscribers away from hitting my first 1K as well. So I am so over the moon excited to hit that milestone, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. So if you're not already a part of the community and something like that, interests you, so that way you can have a, safe space to be yourself in, to key over current topics, then join me. Click the subscribe button and turn the post notifications on so that way you're not missing an episode. Also, we've got a bonus, moment that we're offering as well with the channel, right? Every Friday we upload a new podcast episode, but every Wednesday we also do gaming. That's right, I live stream on my channel on Wednesdays. Also, update, I changed the time that we're streaming, guys. So it went from being at 7:30 p.m. EST on Wednesdays, and now it's at 5 p.m. EST on Wednesdays. 5 p.m. is the new streaming time. So every Wednesday we stream games, Sims, Mario, Walking Dead, Animal Crossing, you name it. We're gonna, dibble and dabble into it all, right? And then every Friday there's a podcast episode. So yeah, I really feel like, there's lots to offer on the YouTube channel. So why not subscribe, right? It's free. Okay, period. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, thank you. Rate that 5 stars, leave a review, and let me know what you think about the show. So, as you guys know, the day that I'm recording this, we only have part 1 of Bridgerton season 4. So I can only talk about my thoughts of episodes 1 through 4, right? And then we get the later half of the season like I think at the end of February or something like that. So overall, like I kind of mentioned before, I like this season a lot more than I liked last season. I feel like last season I was so excited for it because I love Penelope, and that plus size representation that we get with her, right? Live down for that. But it kind of felt a little bit rushed to me. And I feel like the chemistry with Colin and Penn didn't feel like as natural. Then on top of that, I feel like the excitement and like whimsical feeling of it all was kind of snatched away from us because pretty much the entire season Penn was like in turmoil because her secret was potentially getting out, with her being Lady Whistledown and her navigating that secret between her and Colin and her and Eloise. It was a mess. So then it was just like, ugh, like I can't even live in the fantasy because we were literally going through the gags the entire season. So then that kind of threw me off. So, there were lots of good, but there was lots of bad at the same time, just for me personally. So I'm like, what's this next season going to give, But so far, I'm really feeling the slow build, the tension, like, I'm kind of here for it. So let's break this down, episode by episode, right? So we're starting with episode 1. First of all, I loved being able to see inside the Bridgerton house. That was such an exciting little like bit that we got at the beginning of the episode. It felt like a real behind the scenes moment that we'd never really gotten before because, we always see like the glamour and all of like the society stuff and the balls and, all of the like fancy things. But when you actually get to see the people who make the household run, it was just an incredible detail that I feel like they added. And then we're moving on a little bit more into the episode, and I really felt like it was necessary to talk about Lady Danbury this season. I love that she's deciding to put herself first and take a step back. I can't speak today. A step back from, her active role in society. And she's kind of struggling with that. She loves society. She loves everything that she's contributed, to society, and, being like the first like Black woman to like host the first ball is like no easy feat. But she's like, Mama Todd, you know what I mean? Like, I need to see the world. I want to go explore. And that leads us to her speech, that she gave the Queen when she talked about wanting to leave. And like I said, she's given her all to society, her duty. Like when she was stuck with that crusty old man, that husband that she had, like she has sacrificed a lot. So I feel like overall, if Lady Danbury wants to travel and live her life now, let her, okay? She deserves that freedom. Like the Queen is tripping a little bit, but I get where she's coming from, but you got to let her go, sister. Okay, so that was a really interesting detail that they added for me as well. And I also want to talk about Benedict and Sophie, right? That's, the main reason why we are gathered here, for season 4. It's all about Benedict and Sophie for the most part here, okay? I'm going to be honest. Right? Like at first I wasn't really feeling the whole like love at first sight moment. Like it kind of felt a little bit unrealistic because we see that like Benedict kind of is like for everybody. You know what I mean? He's easy. He goes both ways. Anybody that looks at him and bats their eyelashes, you can get it. So then it just kind of felt like, oh, and all of a sudden he's like really, really, really in love with this one girl just because she was looking at a chandelier. It's like, okay, right? Like, am I really feeling the fantasy at first? No, right? But as we, progress, then we feel like, okay, the chemistry is there. So I'll give them that, right? I already love what Sophie is bringing to the show. There's just something about her energy that I feel like fits perfectly into this world. So I'm really, really happy with that. Like, she doesn't feel like, a character that's sticking out like a sore thumb, She really blends into this universe really nicely. And oh my gosh, can we talk about Penelope? Like I said, I love Penelope. She's my favorite character on this show. Everything that she represents, I just love. I was living for her at this masquerade ball, honey. Okay, that bust down blonde wig with those like wavy beach curls was like everything. I'm like, girl, you got me. You got me there, because I'm like, wait, what happened to the redhead? Oh, she's blonde, buzz down for the night. I know that's right. Like, I was screaming, okay? I just loved it. Like, little details like that, I just live for. And especially, like, all the attention that she was getting at the ball. Everyone was on her, okay? It's giving, like, oh, now we see you. Now y'all want to see me? Like, it's really giving back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they don't want me, you know? And I kind of live for that. Like, she's giving mother, she's giving wife, like, it's literally giving, it's Mrs. Bridgerton to you now. It's Mrs. Bridgerton, okay? Like, don't play with it. Like, big mama, one kid, Bertolato. Like, we live. I stand. She cleared her and Colin with that what was it, the pirate aesthetic. That was eating. I love the costume ideas. They ate on that one. But, then we like go further into the ball, and I just felt so bad for Penelope, because at the same time, because I feel like the queen really needs to like ease up on her a little bit. Like, just let her cook. Let her cook. Like, you were enjoying Lady Whistledown before, you're gonna enjoy Lady Whistledown going forward. Just because you know my identity doesn't mean that you got to be all up in the mix. Like, let me cook, bro. But at the same time, like, we know that the queen is gonna queen, right? Like, she's a little unhinged. So I'm like, okay, we gotta just let her do what she gonna do. And I also have a note here where I wanted to talk about Sophie's stepmom, Lady Penwood. When I see you, you're gonna rue the day, because what is your deal? Like, are you cool? Like, seeing the way that Sophie was treated by her in the beginning was actually really sad. Like, I personally feel like that's kind of insane behavior to show towards your staff, let alone your stepdaughter. So I don't understand, like, how she could be so cruel. And then also, I wanted to address the fact that Lady Bridgerton, she looked so good at that masquerade ball. Like, hello? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like not enough people are talking about how good Violet looked at that ball. Like, that outfit was so everything. She just looked so dreamy. She gave mother, you know what I mean? Like, queen, fairy, mother. It was just so everything. Okay, so give episode 1, it's 10s, right? I was like, okay, we're starting off strong, we're starting off good. I'm feeling it. I can get into the fantasy. Okay. Then we move on to episode 2. My first thoughts when we were watching episode 2 was no shade, no tea, but I still cannot believe that at this point in the show, the king is still not dead, right? Like, I know that sounds a little harsh, but they're dragging it out. Okay. Like, oh my goodness, this man is hanging on by a thread. And Queen Charlotte is just like, any minute now, and he's still there. Oh my gosh. But like I said, kind of referencing back to episode 1, I do understand why the queen is scared, because she's potentially, going to be losing Lady Danbury and eventually losing the king. Like, she's terrified of being alone. But at the same time, like I said, you can't trap somebody in your grief. So you're going to have to loosen up those reins and let Lady Danbury free. Like, I can't be sitting here with you all day. Like, I have things to do. I've given so much. I'm not even a lady in waiting anymore, but somehow I'm still doing the job without the pay. This is sick. And now let's briefly talk about Sophie. The fact that she was like being in denial in episode 2 at the fact that Benedict was clearly looking for her after the ball, that was stressing me out. I know, like, that was the point, but oh my God, it was almost too much to handle. I'm like, Sophie girl, love you down, but you need to stand up, right? And tell him that it was you. Okay. Like, shoulders back. Like, put your best foot forward and put yourself out there. But at the same time, I understand why she feels like she don't deserve nothing. She doesn't deserve happiness because of the way that she's been treated. But it's like, girl, if you open your eyes and realize that you deserve so much more, like, you would be so much better off. So, I don't know. It just sucks because, like, overall, I just feel like just because her mom was a maid, that should not mean that she doesn't deserve to, like, exist in the way that she should be in society right now. And the way that her stepmom, Lady Penwood, used that against her, I feel like is really sick. And then on top of that, like, that flashback that we got when her stepmom was like telling her that there was nothing for her in the will when her dad passed away. I don't believe that. Okay. Like, I'm not buying that for 1 second. I truly believe that was a lie. So I'm hoping in a part 2 that we get like a moment where we can like actually see the will for ourselves and see, like, did he leave her with something or what? Because what's going on with that, right? And then, of course, like, Sophie ends up getting kicked out of her house, right? Like, this is technically her birthright. It's her dad's home. And you're kicking me out and you're firing me? Like, this is such weirdo behavior on her stepmom's behalf. It was absolutely disgusting. And she is playing the crap out of that role, honey. Like, she's doing her job because I really dislike her, right? So that means she's doing it well, but at what cost, right? Because, oh my goodness, like, I was really upset, seeing that scene. Like, you really feel for her. Like, she does not deserve what she's going through. Like, now she's, like, basically facing homelessness in episode 2, and she's unemployed. Like, ugh. And thank God that at least one of her stepsisters is, like, nice to her, because it just would have been too much if it was both of them. The other sister's pretty sweet, but still, it's not enough, clearly, because then she still ends up on the streets, and you're like, okay, what's she gonna do? And I think that this episode, really highlights the difference between the Bridgertons and, like, other people in society, like the Penwoods, because the Bridgertons, clearly treat their staff, nicely, like they're human beings, compared to, what Lady Penwood is on. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then we have episode 3, guys. Okay, this was when the show started really, really turning up for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm really kind of feeling it for real, for real, for real. Because the cozy cottage getaway of it all, like, I'm low-key obsessed, okay? Like, once we got to the cottage, my cottage, I was like, okay, like, this is really the episode that's kind of selling Benedict and Sophie for me. Like, you have the late kiss, the kite flying, the softness of it all. Like, I just loved seeing Sophie, like, putting herself outside of survival mode and trying to force herself to relax while Benedict was healing. Like, that was just a really interesting, moment to see. And also, in regards to episode 3, I want to address the whole, like, thing that I've been seeing online where, I've watched a couple of videos, because I love seeing, like, what people have to say about, the new seasons of shows that I'm watching. And a lot of people were saying that they didn't really care for Violet's love story, but I personally love it. Like, I love it. I said, like, my favorite characters on the show are Penelope, but my second favorite character on the show is Violet. Like, I don't know, I just love her character so much. And, like, especially in episode 3, I just love seeing a single mom, who is like putting herself out there, like, back out there after losing the love of her life. Like, if you take it back to, Anthony's season, we really got to see a glimpse of the gags that she went through when their dad passed away. So, like, the turmoil and, like, anguish that she's been through. So to see that she's been able to overcome that and get to the point now where season 4, she's finally having the confidence to put herself out there again, it's just so beautiful to see. And I love that she still honors her, previous husband, Edmund, and she still loves him. But, it really shows that she understands that, like, moving forward is important, and putting herself first, going forward now is a priority for her. And I just love it because Lord Anderson, okay, Lord Anderson, he's so gentle, he's so patient, he's so kind. Like, he's just so good for her. And I love these two together. Like, the chemistry between these two is literally off the charts. Okay, like, every scene between these two feels electrifying in the best way. And I just, like, I live, like, oh my God. Like, he's just such a gentleman. He's such a gentleman. We stand. And, like, there's that moment where he told her that he was in no hurry when she was, like, kind of confessing how she felt. And he said, quote, "I am content as long as I am in your presence." Like, hello? I was gagged after that. Like, that is romance. That is romance. And then like their kiss after was just so sweet. I was just like, ugh, living down for them. Also, we need to talk about the fact that like Violet, the fact that she's still bad at the birds and the bees talk. It's like, girl, please, like you have all these kids. Like we need to do better, okay? Because you already let Daphne down when she was trying to, talk about what goes into sex and all of these things, and you ain't really have no answers. And now Francesca is already married, asking you, and you just like, no, girl, keep it a buck with your children. Like, what's going on? So, you know what I mean? We got to work on that. We got to work on that, Violet, but I believe in you. I believe that you can get better, okay? Because you can't keep leaving your kids out here and they don't know what's going on. And then like in episode 3, we also had like the maid wars. I feel like that storyline was wild, but I really liked, the detail that they added about it, because it's like we're really seeing how important these maids are to society more than ever, right? That was really interesting to see, and like seeing that like Lady Penwood made Sophie do the work of 4 maids. Jail. Because what? You're sick and you're demented and you're twisted. Like that's what you're telling me. And then like on top of that, like Lady Featherington playing in Varley's face. Like what? Like just give the woman a raise. Okay, just give the woman a raise. Like everything that she's been through with this family, the fact that you're gonna play in her face right now and give her 2 used dresses that are out of season, and then turn around and be like, oh, I'm so tired after going through my closet, and then turn around and get yourself new dresses is crazy. Like you really played in her face. And as sad as it was to see Varley leave, I'm glad she kind of stood on 10, because it's like, girl, I tried to give it a buck with you. You played. You really played with me. So good on her. And then we have the last episode 4. I really love Sophie in this episode, and like seeing her settle into her permanent role with the Bridgertons was really nice. And like seeing how excited Eloise and Hyacinth were around her was like really cute. And like on top of that, Violet like inviting Sophie for tea, like everything about the way that she's fitting into this family dynamic screams she needs to be wifey. Like wife her up, Benedict, okay? Like she is beyond maid. She clearly fits into this family well, like, and she needs to be family, not employee. So it's, that was really cute. And I really also love the fact that, Sophie put her foot down and set some boundaries with Benedict in this episode and basically told him, hey, like I like this job. Thank you for helping me out, but I can't be playing around with you. You know what I mean? Like this is something good, right? Like I finally have a job where I'm not treated like crap. I'm actually a valued employee. I'm feeling this. And it's really hard for me to, see you walking around here. You're making life harder for me. So back the freak up, and maybe actually you should leave so that way I can actually focus on my job. So I was like, okay, Sophie, like, good on you, period. But at the end of the day, it still would have been nice if she would have told him that she was a lady in silver at this point. Because at this point, like, I'm over the secrets. Because we had nothing but secrets last season. I'm tired of the secrets. Just let it out. I think you fast forward to another favorite moment that I really liked in episode 4 was when Hyacinth called out Eloise. That gagged me because like before she called her out on this, I had been saying this. I had been saying what Hyacinth said about Eloise. Like she can be very self-absorbed sometimes, and like after the way that she treated Penn last season and the one before that, it was just really nice to see someone else finally clock her tea, because it's like, girl, like at the end of the day, just because something doesn't interest you doesn't mean that you can't support your sister or your friends. So wake up and realize that the world is not revolving around you. And sometimes you got to just be like, okay, cool. Even if you don't care, because it matters to that person that you care about. So get over yourself, right? Wake up and be a decent human being and be a good big sister. Okay. Now we also need to talk about Violet in that lingerie for Lord Anderson. Oh my God. Like, I know that's right. like, like I am just like squealing right now just thinking about it. That scene was everything. Like the evening tea of it all. Gag it. It's time for mother freaking evening tea. I know that's right. I was giggling. I was kicking my feet. Like, it was just so cute to see her be nervous in that moment with him, but also at the same time be brave and be like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. I want him. I want this. I deserve this. It's time. So I just live for that. I feel like the scene was just done so well. It was so cute. Now, I'm going to be honest, right? When it comes to the John and Francesca storyline of it all, I don't personally feel like that part is really super interesting to me right now. Like, I get what they're doing with them. You know, they're showing her like navigating marriage, but that's just not grabbing me yet. But we've got time, right? It's got time to grow on me, especially once we get to like it being like just her season. And I feel like the same thing with the Mondrich, is that how you say it, storyline? I'm not super invested in that storyline either, but, you know, I am open to, like, see where it goes, especially with, like, the lady in waiting of it all and, like, Lady Danbury, you know, setting her up to potentially, like, take that position. So, like, we'll see where it goes with that. And lastly, we need to talk about Benedict asking Sophie to be his mistress. Like, sir, are you serious? Like, BFFR right now. Like, you're doing the most, putting your fingers in her on these stairs in this hallway, turning up. It's hot and heavy in the moment. Everything's going Gucci, and then you ruin it by talking about being my mistress. Is that all she is to you? Like, I just don't understand why the Bridgerton brothers are so dumb in the beginning. Like, Anthony, clueless. Colin, clueless. Like, they really don't get it together until the girlies in their lives, like, really wake them up and say, hey, get it together, right? But in the beginning, it just feels like, oh my goodness, are these guys hopeless? Because what in your right mind would make you think that that's what she wants to hear? Like, I'm so confused right now, especially after the boundaries that she set with you. You think that's what she wants? You think that's the agreement that she wants right now? And then it was crazy because it's like, taking it back to like episode 1, it's just like, it just gives that Benedict is so simple-minded and has so much room to grow. And you just really realize, like, you don't really know nothing about the world like you think you do. Because all it took was one conversation for Sophie to be like, yeah, like, the girlies go through hours of preparation, you know, all in the hopes to get noticed. And you don't really, you know, you got to think about all the gags that they go through, you know, when they're trying to, you know, put themselves out there on the marriage market. And then suddenly he has a talk with his mom and he's like, yeah, you know, I just suddenly realized, like, these girls go through a lot. Why did it take one conversation with Sophie for you to magically now all of a sudden understand this concept and then suddenly gain more respect for what the girls go through? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I understand how annoying it can be to constantly be hounded by the mamas of the town when you're a Bridgerton boy and, you know, you feel like you're being suffocated in that situation. But once again, it, like Sophie said, it is, you know, like, good to consider what all of these girls are going through and knowing that, like, they've been trained their whole life for this moment. So of course, yeah, they're going to be on you. So, like, now all of a sudden you're like just now thinking about how that impacts them and how that can be a lot of pressure for them as women. Like, why haven't you been thought about that? Like, you have sisters, you see, and a mom, and you see what they have to go through when they, like, get ready to debut. You know what gags, like, Daphne had to go through and how stressed she was about, you know, finding somebody when she debuted. So, what? Like, I don't know. It just, that kind of, like, annoyed me. Where it's like, wake up, Benedict, okay? Like, the world doesn't revolve around you. Just like, Eloise, wake up. You got to realize that other people are going through the gags, right? And you need to really focus on trying to be a better person and actually commit yourself to something. So I think that after Sophie looked at him in his face and just walked away after the whole mistress of it all, that's really going to be a big wake up call again for Benedict to be like, okay, what do I do? Like, going forward, how can I step it up and really be the man that I want to be and that Sophie deserves? I just feel like that was ridiculous. So I'm kind of glad that she like didn't say anything. Cause like, what can you say? What can you say in that moment? Cause it's like, either I stay silent or I swing. Right? And I don't want to be fighting you, you know, in your mom's crib all like this, especially when she's my employer. So I'm gonna just go. Skip my coin purse. She didn't even go bother to get get the coin purse. She said, I'm just gonna leave. Okay. So overall, I clearly like this season, you know, a little bit more than I was feeling last season. Like I said, it feels a little bit slower. It feels more intentional. It feels more natural. The chemistry between, you know, the two main characters feels believable. So I'm really excited for part 2, you know? And then we're on to other topics. Like I mentioned before with RuPaul's Drag Race, we have the recent season of RuPaul's Drag Race. It's season 18, I think. At this point, it's so hard to keep up with the seasons because we've been, you know, watching for so long. But I was excited about this season. And then when it started, I was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, so far, this season isn't my favorite, right? It's not my favorite. And I don't feel like it's, like, the most interesting. And that's, like, no shade to, you know, all the hard work that all of these queens, you know, put in. But that's just my opinion, you know what I mean? But then once we got to the talent show episode, then I feel like, okay, now it's really starting to turn up. Now it's really starting to get a lot of more interesting. I'm so confused as to why they had the talent show like later at this point in the season rather than earlier like they normally do. It feels like they're kind of just doing everything backwards, but it is what it is. I really enjoyed the talent show. And on top of that, we also got the lip sync for the win between Juicy Love Dion and Mia Starr. OMG. That lip sync for the win was absolutely incredible. I really loved it, especially because they had the special guest for this episode be Zara Larsson. And you guys know I live for Zara Larsson. So the fact that they lip synced to her song called Pretty Ugly, which I love, you know, it's on her Midnight Sun album, and they ate that lip sync down, okay? Like, Juicy's over here flipping and kicking, Mia's over here bouncing the breastplate, like, the bra that she had on the breastplate was hanging on for dear life, like, it was intense, but I had a feeling that it was going to be a tie, and I'm glad that it was a tie because both of them were just so entertaining. And so far, I would have to say that Mia Starr is my personal favorite. Like, it just has such a great personality, it seems, you know, from what we can see that she's offering on the show. And she also has like so much range, you know, when it comes to being a performer because of her being a professional dancer. Like, it's not often you get somebody on Drag Race who has a resume like hers, like who's danced for Britney Spears and I think she said Rihanna. Like, she is credentialed, honey. She said Dancing with the Stars already did that, you know? So, of course, she's going to end up tying in this lip sync. Like, she served. And then, like I said, her talent show number was so good, right? And then, like, so was Juicy Love Dion's, though. Like, her talking about push the red button and, like, pretending to be, like, a robot was just really cool. So I really, really think that now going forward, the season is really heating up. But I just felt like I wanted to talk about that. So if you guys haven't watched the Pretty Ugly lip sync, it is on the RuPaul's Drag Race channel on YouTube, so be sure to check that out because that was a really good lip sync. And then they also have the talent show, the first half of the talent show on the channel uploaded as well. And I've watched like both the talent show and the lip sync like multiple times because I just love Juicy and Mia. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like what else we're gonna get from this season, you know? Also, another thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that the Grammys hosted a MusiCares gala where they honored Mariah Carey as the 2026 Person of the Year. and they ended up having like tribute performances. And when I heard that they were doing this, I was nervous because we already know like the drama that she's been through with Money Long, and the fact that she's like talked about she doesn't really like, you know, hearing people cover her songs and her music. So I'm like, ooh, like what? You know what I mean? Like, what do we do going forward? And it just wasn't impressive. I feel like a lot of the performances they did as tributes to her were kind of a mess, and it was just crazy, you know, like seeing clips of her faces that she was making as they were performing. Some of them were just such a mess that it seemed like it was hard for her to like hide her expressions and how she was feeling. But I'm like, what is actually going on right now? Like, as of today that I'm recording this, they haven't officially uploaded the performances at this gala. But like I said, I've seen clips on TikTok, and a lot of them were a flop. Like, no shade, no tea, but I wasn't really feeling Billy Porter, Kesha, or Jennifer Hudson's covers. Like, that's just to name a few. There are a couple others that were bad as well, but they haven't like officially been uploaded on YouTube or anything. But from the snippets that I saw, they were struggling down. And like, whose idea was to be like, okay, Mariah Carey tribute, let's get Kesha. And no shade to Kesha fans. Like, at the end of the day, Kesha is great for what the lane that she's in, but I personally feel like it's not a good fit to cover a Mariah Carey song. You know what I mean? Like, read the room and let the people shine in the lane that they need to shine in. Like, that's not gonna benefit Kesha or her image to like put her in a song that's not even her like vibe. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't give Mariah Carey. So why didn't we choose like Tori Kelly again? Somebody that we know can give Mariah. And it was like, you would think that the Jennifer Hudson of it all would be so good, but Jennifer Hudson was kind of chopped too. I'm not even gonna lie. The clips I saw, she was kind of chopped. And at the end of the day, it just makes you realize like what icon the Mariah Carey is, because her songs are quite difficult for even people like Jennifer Hudson to cover, let alone Billy Porter. So, of course, you're going to be struggling the house down on that stage, fighting for your life, quite literally fighting for your life to stay alive and hit those notes. So, it was a little bit rough. It was a bit rough. I'm hoping we can see the full performances. But, you know, the ones that I did see that seemed good, you know, and better was Charlie Puth. He seemed to do a good job. And, of course, we have Flo. They, I think, were there and did a cover. And the clips that I saw of that, the harmonies sounded tight and they sounded right. But at the end of the day, that's not a surprise. We stand Flo on this show. And at the end of the day, if you want the job done, you call them. You know what I mean? So shout out to Flo for eating it up in front of the queen, because some people couldn't rise to the challenge. And, you know, that's okay. But at least when she did her, you know, acceptance speech, from what I saw, she was like, this is an honor. Loved being here tonight. Gag it. So, period. I still haven't like finished watching all of the Grammy performances so far, though. I did see Sabrina Carpenter's, and at the end of the day, like, I don't live for Man-Child, and I'm not really living for like that album in this era as it is. I've said it before, I like Black Sabrina Carpenter just like I like Black Ariana Grande. So when it comes to the country, you know, Dolly Parton Jr.-esque type of like comeback, it's not really my fave. But at the end of the day, like, she did serve what needed to be served for the performance, for what it was worth. Like, even though I'm not living for the era, I'm not living for the aesthetic, I'm not living for the song, and I'm not living really for the album, when it comes to the stage production and the quality of the performance, though, it's always going to be there. Even if you're not a fan of whatever era Sabrina Carpenter's in, or whatever song she's performing, at the end of the day, the performance is still going to be entertaining, and it's still going to be good, because she don't play. Okay, like the fact that she was on that Grammy stage, we had a plane, you know what I mean? And she's pretending to work at a airport. The whole aesthetic and the whole concept of the performance was really good. I also saw Justin Bieber's performance that he did for UConn. The fact that he was up there in his underwear, I'm like, okay, that's a choice. But at the end of the day, he still ate it. That performance was so captivating. I'm like, dang, man. Like, no matter how long it's been, there's still a little part of me that like little like Kristen that was like a Justin Bieber stan, like still low-key lives for this man. And I'm like, oh my God, like, can I just be free? Can I be free from the shackles that Justin Bieber has set me in? Like, I cannot let go of him 100%, because then he has these moments where he just brings you in, he hooks you in, and you're like, yep, that's Justin Bieber. Big Biebs. Like, he ate. The talent is undeniable. The skill is there. The fact that he was like looping his own beat IRL, takes a lot of skill, right? But at the end of the day, we know that he is just a natural artist. He's a natural musician. He did it with such ease. He did it with such grace. And I'm like, at the end of the day, no matter what he's going through when it comes to his mental health and his personal life, you can't deny his connection with music. Like, music just lives in him, and it just runs through his veins and like runs through his blood. So he's able to always just tap into that music bag effortlessly. Like, he's not even like active as an artist right now, for real. He hasn't been doing shows like that. He hasn't toured, but yet somehow, some way, he's able to get up on that Grammy stage after how long it's been since he's been at the Grammys or performed at the Grammys, get up there in his socks and underwear and serve as if he was just there last year, turning up. Like, I don't know how he does it, but that's why you're like, okay, right, this is why this is your job. Some people are just born to be an artist, and some people are just born for this to be their job, and Justin Bieber's one of them. So I can't wait to watch more of the performances, because I think also Zara Larsson opened up for like the pre-show for the Grammys. Like, I think she did a performance for that. I need to watch that. So yeah, and then like, I don't really know all of the winners. Like I said, I still have a lot more to watch, but from what I know, like Kehlani, so happy for her, like finally getting like her Grammys. I've been a Kehlani stan from literally the beginning, when she was on that show, was X Factor or something like that, I forget. So, back in her days when she was, rocking with Nick Cannon and had her debut single. So to see her now, and the fact that like Folded, out of all songs, is the one that like got her the Grammy, is crazy to see. Like, I personally feel like she has a lot of stuff in her discography, is that the right word, that deserved a Grammy before this. But it's nice to see that people are finally waking up and like appreciating, her artistry as well. So I'll have to like clock back in with you guys, as I watch more and catch up more with, whatever, everything else that happened at the Grammys. But so far, I was like, okay, it seemed like it wasn't that awful, right? But at the same time, it didn't seem like it was like, gaggy either. So yeah, and like Cat's Eye, I saw their performance. Like, I wasn't really feeling their choice to do Gnarly at the Grammys. I really wasn't. I feel like it would have been better for them to do Gabriella. And then on top of that, they do Gnarly, and then they give us the same dance breakdown that they did on tour. I thought that if it was the Grammys, that we would have got something different, something new that we haven't seen before. But hey, maybe they only had a certain amount of time to prepare, and that's just what they had to do. And they said, we got to do something that we know. We got to go with what we know. I don't know. But I personally feel like them not having their like backtrack turned up a little bit was like a bit distracting for me, because Gnarly is a hard song to sing live to, right? So of course their vocals aren't going to be like 100% perfect, because it's a difficult song to perform. So in that moment, turn the backtrack up, lip sync if you have to, so that way we can really get into the performance and not have like distractions with, you guys sounding out of breath a little bit on the track. I personally would be okay with that. But at the end of the day, I give them an A for effort. First Grammys performance. It is what it is. For what it's worth, they ate that. Okay, so period. But yeah, so that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I had fun chatting with you guys, and when Bridgerton Part 2 comes out, I will be sure to cover that. And I've said it before, but be sure to check out my second podcast that I have as well. It's called Everything 2000s. You can find it on YouTube if you search up at Everything 2000s Podcast. And we're on Instagram at Everything 2000s Pod. Be sure to listen to that. The last episode that we just uploaded was about the movie Hairspray. So that was really fun. I co-hosted with my friend Shalina. So check that out. And like I said at the beginning, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, like, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about Hairspray. Hairspray. What? Let me know what you thought about Bridgerton. Oh my gosh, I need a nap, guys. I really need a nap. It's been a long week. But yeah, comment down below to let me know what you thought about Bridgerton, and subscribe so that way we can get to that 1K. I believe we can do it. Turn those post notifications on. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, rate that 5 stars, leave a review. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Cause I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya.